A French delegation led by the Foreign Minister Catherine Colonna and Minister of the Armed Forces Sébastien Lecornu have been meeting with Niger President Mohamed Bazoum in Niamey. Now, the fight against terrorism, the security situation in the Sahel, and food insecurity are among the main topics being discussed by the French and Nigerian officials. Several agreements have been signed between the two countries to increase their work to improve the security in the Sahel, where the attacks perpetrated mainly by jihadists and rebel groups have increased in the last months. The move is tied to France's decision earlier this year to withdraw troops from Mali after 9 years of helping the Malian forces fight violent extremists who had threatened to seize power.
We are here to mark France's commitment, alongside the Nigerian authorities, and to respond as best we can to the needs that you, Nigerian ministers, have expressed to us, whether in terms of development aid, security and the fight against terrorism, as you said, Mr. Minister, but also to help Niger to deal with the food insecurity that is increasing in the world.
Today, France is the most important bilateral partner that we have, both in terms of the volume of French public aid and in terms of its commitment to our security, to our fight against terrorism, and its military commitment. France's children, soldiers, have fallen in our territory. We offer them our prayers for the victims of terrorism in our territory and we salute their memory. They fell here for our security.
Ils sont tombés ici pour notre sécurité. C'est qu'il y a une volonté politique.
That there is a political, diplomatic and military desire to pursue a high-quality partnership between Niger and the French Republic on the security issues. I say this because sometimes we have suffered some ridiculing criticism during recent election campaigns about the role and place that France has taken in Mali. If the French armies were deployed in the framework of the operations that you, Minister, mentioned and praised earlier, it was because the Malian authorities had obviously asked for this French intervention, and if we are no longer there tomorrow, near future, it is because the new authorities, I can't believe it, no longer want it. This is important because we must not ridicule France's word. France's word is respect for sovereignty.
La parole de la France, c'est le respect des souverainetés.
Et par rapport à ça, le Niger a déjà accepté le principe.
And in relation to Niger, we have already accepted the principle that a large part of this Barkhane force, Operation Barkhane, an anti-insurgent operation, be deployed in Niger to enable us to deal with this security situation. But with the deterioration of the situation in Mali, the Makina zone, the three-border zone, land between Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger, and the Burkina zone are also affected. So, we are led to reflect not only on what is happening in the south of Mali, in the north of the Tillabéri region, but we are also called to look at our border area with Burkina Faso to see how we can be helped by our friends with whom we have been collaborating for many years.
On the news, the Armed Forces of Liberia is set to immortalize officers and soldiers of the Nigerian military who paid the supreme sacrifice during peacekeeping operations in that country. This was disclosed by the Chief of Staff for Armed Forces of Liberia, Major General Prince Charles Johnson III, when he paid a courtesy call on the Chief of Defence Staff at the Defence Headquarters in Abuja. He eulogized the Nigerian military for the technical assistance rendered through Economic Community of West African States and for the sacrifices rendered by Nigerian troops to the people of Liberia in restoring peace during the eternal strife experienced in that country. Now, the Liberian Armed Forces Chief also called for more collaboration and bilateral relations in the area of training.
Liberia, Nigeria stand a long way from where we come from. Both countries, I will tell you today, we have 17 years of relative peace because of the sacrifices the men and women from Nigeria have posed into Liberia that today we are what we are. Today our visit is a courtesy call to attend the 44th graduation of senior class in Jaji and to also pay a courtesy call on the Chief of Defense Staff to see the possibility of how we can work in the issue of contemporary threats we have in our region, to see how best Liberia, the armed forces of Liberia, can tap on the expertise, the training that we have already receiving from your armed forces, sir. So our reason being here is how best we can cement that tie and how best we can benefit, as we already have benefited from the Nigerian armed forces.
That we're now visiting the headquarters today is something of delight. Delight in the sense that, as you remarked, we've had very long-standing relations, talking about Nigeria and Liberia. And your kind words also as to what we've been able to do at the time when Liberia was challenged security-wise. And for us as members of the armed forces and Nigeria in general, we remain very proud of some of the efforts that we have made, not just in your country, but equally within the West African sub-region.